Imagine standing in the middle of Death Valley and watching rocks move. On their own. No wind strong enough. No people pushing them. Just rocks sliding across the desert floor like they're auditioning for Fast and Furious. Geology Edition. Strange? Oh, we're just getting started. Because today we're answering why after why. From mosquitoes with spit issues to why grandma's rock purple hair. Buckle up. Here's the deal. We're diving into the world's weirdest, funniest, and most fascinating whys. Some are science, some are history, some are just nature being dramatic. And by the end, you'll see the world differently the next time you scratch a mosquito bite, cry over an onion, or hear your knees go crunch. Why do rocks move in Death Valley? At Racetrack Playa, giant stones crawl across the dried lake bed. The trick? When rain makes the clay slippery and thin ice sheets form, even a gentle breeze can push the rocks along. Nature invented ice skating for rocks. Why does a mosquito bite itch? Because they don't just steal your blood, they leave behind spit. Their saliva has proteins that confuse your immune system. First bite, nothing. Second bite, your body throws a full tantrum. And here's the kicker. Mosquitoes actually prefer buffalo and rats. We're literally the snack-sized option. Why does hair burn in the sun? Hair contains melanin, which breaks down under UV rays. That's why your hair lightens. But your skin? It produces more melanin to protect itself. Translation: your hair taps out, but your skin goes into beast mode. Why is the woodpecker called the forest doctor? Because it's basically an insect exterminator. Woodpeckers hear bugs under bark, drill them out, and eat them. And when they're done, the abandoned holes become bird apartments. It's pest control and real estate. Why is the sun a star, not a planet? Because it's a giant nuclear reactor. Planets are made of rock and metal. Stars, like the sun, are hydrogen bombs burning 24/7. The sun isn't like a star, it is one. Why not store gasoline in plastic? It's not about corroding the plastic. The real danger is static electricity. Plastic charges up easily, and one spark near gas vapors? Boom. Congratulations, you just invented backyard fireworks. Why shouldn't you speed through puddles? Because you'll hydroplane. Your tires ride on water instead of asphalt, like sliding on ice. Worse, your brakes get soaked, and that puddle might be hiding nails, bricks, or even an open sewer. Suddenly, Fast and Furious turns into Slow and Curious. Why can't you get a bulb out of your mouth? It's shaped like a pear. It goes in easily when your jaw is relaxed, but once inside, your jaw muscles tighten, trapping it. You just gave yourself a human IKEA puzzle. Why do knees crunch? Cartilage cushions bones, but over time it wears down. Add heavy loads or high heels, and you get that Rice Krispies soundtrack. Health shoes or stylish shoes? Your knees have opinions. Why did monks shave the tops of their heads? It started in the 7th century as a sign of humility, shaving away ego and worldly attachments. Plus, in medieval times, it doubled as hygiene. Basically, holy men were doing the original buzz cut. Why are sharks afraid of dolphins? Sharks are lone wolves. Dolphins are squad goals. A pod will gang up, slam a shark with their snouts, and go straight for the gills, the shark's weak spot. Think of it as a marine Mortal Kombat. Why do our eyes flicker? Most often it's blood circulation or pressure issues. The brain goes, glitch in the system, and you see spots, sparkles, or flickers. Basically, your eyes are buffering. Why do people snore? When throat muscles relax, the airway narrows. Air vibrates the soft tissues, and voila, snoring. Add weight, alcohol, or bad posture, and you've got a nighttime chainsaw concert. Why do car windows freeze inside? Warm car plus cold outside equals condensation. When the car cools down, moisture inside turns to ice, and the windshield frosts up from the inside first. Nature's prank on drivers. Why do people talk in their sleep? It happens in about half of kids and 5% of adults, usually after a day packed with strong emotions. Sleep talking isn't random nonsense. Often it mirrors real events, which is terrifying if you're holding secrets. Why does a microphone hum? Because it's sensitive. Radio signals, bad wiring, or too much gain, and it starts humming like it's auditioning for a choir. Why are there 7 days in a week? Blame Babylonian astrologers. They tracked 7 heavenly bodies: Moon, Mercury, Venus, Sun, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and built a 7-day cycle. Basically, ancient astrology set your Google Calendar. Why left-hand traffic in England? It began in 1756 on London Bridge. Everyone had to keep left or pay a fine in silver. Later, the law spread across Britain. Maritime rules helped too. Ships enter harbors on the left. So yes, thanks sailors for UK traffic jams. Why do we have nightmares? Your brain is basically unloading stress. Work drama, financial fears, big life changes. Your psyche packages them into scary dreams so you can process them. Nightmares are your mind's horror movie therapy. Why does a car electrocute you? Because sliding on car seats builds static electricity. When you touch the metal, zap, easy fix, touch the glass or plastic first. Static-free exit unlocked. Why are icebergs freshwater? 70% of Earth's freshwater is locked in Antarctic ice. Even Captain Cook collected drinking water from icebergs back in 1773. Fast forward, and people still talk about harvesting them today. Giant floating water bottles. Why is 666 the number of the devil? Blame Emperor Nero. In Hebrew letters, his name adds up to 666. Some texts even say 616, maybe a spelling error. So yes, the devil's number was basically ancient math homework. Why do whales beach themselves? Parasites, illness, confused leaders, inexperience, or even human interference. Sometimes it's nature, sometimes us. Sadly, it's a mystery that still breaks hearts. Why is English international? Because the British Empire spread it across the globe. Add easy grammar, global trade, Hollywood, and the internet, and English became Earth's default second language. Why do trees crack in extreme cold? When sap freezes, it expands and splits the wood. Trees literally explode from the inside. Nature's version of ice and fire. Why so many pasta shapes? Over 1,200 exist. Some are named after screws, spindles, or even tools. Different shapes catch different sauces. Italians basically engineered edible architecture. Why do seashells sound like the ocean? It's not the ocean, it's ambient noise echoing in the shell. You're just hearing the soundtrack of your own room. The ocean in your ear is a beautiful lie. Why traffic lights are red, yellow, green? Red has the longest wavelength, visible from 10 kilometers away. Yellow, 5 kilometers. Green, 3 kilometers. It's not random, it's physics. Safety through rainbows. Why is denim blue? Indigo dye only sticks to the surface of the threads. With every wash, the color fades and the fabric softens. Worn jeans became stylish because they were comfy. Why only 4 passport colors? Red equals old communist states plus EU. Blue equals New World countries. Green equals Islamic nations. Black equals rare, used in some African states and New Zealand. Travel chic is surprisingly political. Why do old books smell good? Because lignin in paper breaks down into compounds similar to vanilla. That old book smell is literally dessert chemistry. Why do onions make us cry? Cutting them releases acids that turn into a tear gas called thiopropionaldehyde desoxide. Basically, onions are armed with chemical weapons. Why do jellyfish sting? Their tentacles have venom capsules that paralyze prey and sting humans too. Even washed-up jellyfish can zap you. Some species, like Australia's sea wasp, can kill. Jellyfish don't play. Why do apples turn brown? Polyphenol in apples react with oxygen when cells are damaged. It's not rust, it's oxidation. The brown layer also defends against bugs. Nature's built-in no trespassing sign. Why are matches called Swedish? In 1844, Swedish chemist Gustav Erik Pass replaced deadly white phosphorus with safer red phosphorus. Safer, less poisonous, and suddenly matches were Swedish. Why do elk drop antlers? Outside mating season, antlers are just heavy and energy draining, so they drop them to save strength in winter. Wolves probably love this feature. Why do oil rigs burn gas? Along with oil comes natural gas. Collecting it isn't always efficient, so it's burned off in flares, safer than releasing it raw. Why do witty comebacks arrive too late? Dennis Diderot called it staircase wit. Under stress, your brain freezes. Later, when calm, the perfect line hits you, usually when you're already walking away. Classic brain trolling. Why do older women dye hair purple? Because gray often has a yellow tint. Violet toner cancels it out, leaving fresh, lively color. It's not random, it's color science. Grandma's just flexing. So, from rocks that walk to sharks that fear dolphins, every why tells us something about how weird and wonderful the world really is. Now I want to hear from you. Which ride blew your mind the most? And which one do you still think has no good explanation? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's see if we can solve the unsolvable together. And hey, if you had fun on this ride, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with a friend who loves asking way too many questions. Trust me, we've got plenty more whys coming.